Don't get scammed. Listen, if you're an artist like I am, you probably have your work on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all those places, and that's great. I highly recommend to do that. But yes, you're going to get some messages from potential customers, and many of them, probably most of them, are going to be scams. Now, how do you avoid this? Because I get this all the time, and there's a lot of red flags that's actually makes it a lot of times it's actually easy to catch if you know where to look. Usually, it'll always start with, do you take commissions? Now, does that in itself mean it's a scam right away? No, of course not. But it just seems to be that they're always asked that. And one of the most common things I notice with these, it's almost always that they want a pet portrait or a portrait of their kid. Now, is that in itself a scam? No, of course not. But here's the thing. Me personally, okay, I'm going to give you a little background. I'm a mural artist. I've been painting murals in the Toronto area for about 27 years. So most of my work is wall murals, or I do some car hoodliners. So therefore, on my portfolio, I really don't do pet portraits. I've done a small amount or personal portraits. I just don't do them. So someone coming to me and asking, do I do something that's not on my portfolio? That in itself is a red flag. And there's tons of great artists that specialize in that. So right away, I'm thinking in my head, why don't you go to these artists? So that's one thing. Now, another thing is that most of the time, and it is very common, they're going to tell you, oh, I have this to pay, this, but it's usually about, they're going to say, I have $250 to pay, $300 to pay. That is also a red flag. Because I don't know about you, so like I said, I'm a mural artist and I've done work all over the area. When I go to a customer, I talk to a customer, I go to a location, almost never, I don't even think they've ever once said, without me asking, I have this to pay, this is my budget. Now, is it a good idea to ask for a budget? Of course. But so just them stating, oh, I have $300 to pay, another red flag. Another one. If they say anything about NFT right away, I don't bother. I don't do anything with NFTs. I know, yeah, it's legit. I don't get involved in that, and that's my choice. So right away, I don't bother with that. Another scam that they use is the check scam. So they always have a weird story. Oh, I have this check from some insurance thing, and I'm gonna send you a check for $2,500. So, but just cash that, and I will give you. They want me to send them the rest of it. So let's say if they have a check for $2,500 and the art is $250, they want me to send them the balance. This is a scam. Don't even bother right away. That's a scam. Okay. Another thing I noticed is that they almost always will request a certain size, which is also to me a red flag, because they're going to say, I want an 8x10, 8x12. Like I said, I don't even do I don't do work that small. And I tell them right away, I'm a mural painter. I mostly paint on walls. Where are you located? Because if you're not in my area, the Toronto area, right away, that's almost, I'm not going to work with you. Now, I can do canvases and ship them. I do that. So if you are an artist that does portraits, canvas, and you ship them, you always answer the customer. This is one thing I have to stress. You do have to answer these questions, because many times they are legit. And the good news is there are plenty of legitimate customers on Instagram, Facebook, all of these places. And I've gotten work from there many times. So always answer them, be polite. And then once you know that it's a scam, then you could ignore, block, do whatever you want to do. Another thing you can do to weed out these people. Now, I will always talk to my customer on the phone, if not in person, if it's in my area. So So if you think, okay, this could be a legitimate customer, you can set up a phone call and you can do it right on the app. Because if they're long distance, you can do it. You can do calls on Instagram or Facebook, and it works pretty good too. So, and if they don't want to talk to you, they're gonna. The scammers always have some weird kind of story where they can't talk to. Right away scam. Think about it. If you are a customer wanting anything done and you're going to be paying someone money, especially when they're not from you, you're going to tell me you don't want to talk to them on the phone. That helps legitimize me as a customer and helps me build trust with them as a legitimate customer. Sorry, as an artist. So if they don't want to talk to you on the phone, red flag, don't bother. Another thing. So their method of payment, sometimes it'll be the check, and sometimes they will want to use some weird kind of app other than PayPal. Now I use PayPal. I've been using it for at least 15 years. It's good. It's pretty much the standard. Are there PayPal scams? Of course. So one thing to do if you're going to use PayPal, I highly recommend always you get their email and you send them a PayPal request. Because there are a lot of PayPal spoof. You could get an email saying it's from PayPal. It'll look exactly like it. It's a spoof. So when you send a request to them, you know that it's a legit PayPal thing back. Okay. I'm in Canada, so we don't have Venmo, but I know in the States and other places Venmo is should be legit. There's a lot of other cash apps, and yeah, some of them may be legit, but if I've never used it and you've never heard of it, I don't recommend setting one up for this one customer that just seems too good to be true. Just don't do it. If your gut is telling you this is a scam, 9.5 times out of 10, it is. Now, don't get discouraged because, yeah, there is a lot of scammers. There's probably way more scammers than legit customers. But like I said, there really is legit customers on these sites. Well, one other thing that is also red flag. Usually, not always, but usually when a potential customer is coming to you, usually they've been following you for a while and you'll notice they follow you and they like your stuff. They might comment on some of your posts. So therefore, when you get a request from them, it seems more logical. This customer's been following you and enjoys your work. I've had requests from customers that were legit customers. They've been following me for years, and maybe they had to save up money or they weren't ready. So that's one thing. A lot of times the scammers are so usually their profile is, they probably have nothing on there. No posts of their own. They don't even follow you, which is also a bit strange because if you're gonna get work with somebody and this person is not even following you, that's also a red flag. I always work, and I recommend this to any artist. Doesn't matter whether you paint murals, portraits, canvas, anything. Always, 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 I'm going to say one more time, always get a deposit before you do any work. What does any work mean? Any work means if you're doing a rough concept, get a deposit. You can choose to structure however. Some artists like 50% up front, 30%, doesn't really matter. Ask for a deposit because if it's a legit customer, they have no problem paying a deposit. I've never once had a customer not willing to pay a deposit. And when they don't, that's a huge red flag because if they're not willing to pay a deposit, they're not secure in your work based on your portfolio, which they have supposedly seen and loved, they don't want to pay you a deposit, red flag. So that's another very important thing. I cannot stress that enough. So get the deposit first. And if it's something that you're going to ship in the end, make sure you get the balance of that before you ship. So it could be PayPal. You can do bank drafts, bank transfer. It's a lot more complicated, but it is legit. There's a lot of bank numbers you have to use. I rarely use that anymore. But that is a legit way. There's just a lot of numbers that you need they need your bank numbers, and it's really a hassle. PayPal is pretty much the best for me. So I hope these tips help you. If anytime something sounds too good to be true, or it's worded in a strange way because maybe they're using a translator and just the wording just seems off. It doesn't sound like the way a normal person is talking. That's a red flag. Now, Yeah, you can get customers from other countries. I have a great customer in Sweden, and I've done a few works for him. And his English is not so great, so his language will be a little bit off the grammar. But he's of course a legit customer. So that's not in itself a red flag, but it's just one of the things that can help you. So use all these tips. Use your gut. Trust it because it's always right. Now, have you been scammed? Luckily, I've never been scammed. It's been attempted many times. I've used these things that I've learned to weed it out. I want to know, for artists, have you been scammed? I hope not. And how did you resolve it? Did you get a resolution in the end, or what happened? So I hope that was helpful to you. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. I found that using these tips really has helped me. Knock on wood, I haven't been scammed yet.